Welcome to unit testing. Unit testing is a form of white box testing, and these type of tests are actually written by the developer of the code and not the quality assurance or the test team. In unit testings, what we do is unit tests basically are testing the smallest block of code in your application. And when you create your unit test, you have to write more than one test per method. What you can do is you can create multiple tests in form of valid test, invalid test, negative test and null test. So these will be helping you in creating your unit test. Let's get started with our test manager. We'll be using Microsoft Test Manager to write our test. You're connecting to our team project, Team Foundation server, and you have the username and password. The username is hackwithoutest@outlook.com and the password is ABCDE12345. We're signing into the Foundation server and we have been asked for a number. Let's just type in a number 965482537. Let's say if we receive a text, it may ask you to protect your passwords. I'm expecting a message 9274. Let's go next, and again now it's asking for a password ABCD12345. Let me just sign into the server. Microsoft is connecting us to our team project and we are at the testing center now. So here we already had a test plan which we have discussed in the previous class. Now what we need to do is, let's say we are going to create a new suite of tests and let's call it as what we can do is either we can organize a new test plan with another project, and in order to do that what you can do is you can go to your Hack with the Testing account, and from that testing account you can either select a new project. So what we like to do, let me just create a new Team Foundation project. So in order to do this, I'll go to my Visual Studio, I'll go to new, I'm going to create a new project, and let's say we are going to create a Windows 32 project and we are going to call it as unit test. We are going to add it to the source control. We click on finish. We'll be asked, we have to connect to Hack with the Office. So in order to do this, let me just right click and add solution to source control. What we have to do is, let's go to team, connect to a Team Foundation server. We're going to sign into the Team Foundation server again from Visual Studio. My account is hackwithatest@outlook.com and the password is ABCDE12345. I would like to be signed in. We'll just log into the Team Foundation server. It's again asking me for the password. I have provided the password ABCDE12345. We have hackwithatesting.visualstudio.com. I hope I was connecting to some other server, and here it is, and the password is abcd12345. We actually need to connect to Hack with a testing server. So I'm now connected to our Hack with a testing, and here we'll say we'll connect to this. So now the project has been hosted at the server, and we do have a project here. So now what we need to do is we need to get started with unit testing, and you guys have to keep in mind that unit tests are conducted by software developer, and these tests are written before writing the real code. So let's go to Microsoft Test Manager. We're going to sign out, or else what we can do is we'll do a little refresh, and if we say if we have some unit testing, so I'll quickly cross check if the project is created there or not. So we at the moment are connected to my first project at Hack with a Testing, and these codes will be added to that. So what next we like to do, we'll attach the code to my first project Team Foundation server itself, and let's get started with the code. So within my first project we will be having our unit test.cpp files available, and let me just quickly go to Solution Explorer, and you can see that we have some source files available here. So for the unit test, what actually we have to do is I'll get started with my first project, and within this we are going to add a new test plan, and let's call it as unit test plan. For my first project, and we are going to add the test plan. So we have a unit test plan. We'll select the plan, and now within the unit test plan we have to add our new test cases. So we are going to add a new test case, and this test case will be known as unit test case. And here what we would like to do, so first of all we like to test a valid input. So we like to do enter correct integer a and b, integer output should be returned, valid input integer a is equal to 1 and b is equal to 2, and integer 3 output should be returned. That will be our first case. Then we'll do invalid input, and within this invalid input we like to say integer a is equal to, let's say we are going to put in something Devanshu, and b is equal to Shukla, and let's say whether these values should be added. So within the invalid input we should get warning exception for string exception. Third, we like to test negative values, and that will be something like integer a is equal to -1 and integer b is equal to -2, and we should say that we should get a warning. Please enter valid numbers. Without. Please enter unsigned integers. And the fourth one will be, we should get null values test. Integer a is equal to null and integer b is equal to null, and we should get warning empty values should not be provided. So these are the few test cases which we have written for this particular case. We're going to save and close the test. So we have the test case, and if we go to the test case, you can see that we have a unit test case here, and we have to get started with the test. So we'll go to the test case now, and here we have active test. What we can do is we can run the active test, and we have written one active test for our add method. So at the moment here we have a test here, and we can create the action recording, and we are going to start the test. So we have started the test. Valid input integer a equal to 1 and b equal to 2, and expected should be 3, and output should be returned. So in this case, what we like to do is, before testing anything, we like to write a simple code. As I'm a developer and I'm doing unit testing, so I have to write the test cases first, and then I have to design my method for my application. So I would like to include IOStream so that we can deal with input-output stream in C++ programming. First thing what we like to do is we like to print out something like welcome to unit test demo /n. Then we are going to print out something like enter value for a /n. Then we are going to receive the input, and we are going to store that into an integer something like a. So we are going to take an integer, we'll initialize that with 0. We are going to take another integer, we're going to initialize that with 0. So we are going to put that into 0. Then we are going to make another output, and let's call it as /n enter value for b. And then what we need to do, console input, and we are going to put that into b, and then we are going to another code. And here now what we need is, let's say we are going to add the values a comma b, and something output should be returned. But at the moment, as we don't have an add method here, so what we like to do, we are going to write an add method here. Let's go here and create a void add method. So in C++ always the code body has to be defined in advance. So what we like to do is, we'll take an integer a here, we'll take an integer b here. Now whatever values we will be providing within the add method here, they will be received within integer a and integer b, and we are going to perform some output here. We are going to add the values, and finally we are going to put the values out. So we'll say something like output is, and we are going to send the value of c to the console, and then we are going to put a new line. And after this we are going to call the getCharacter method, so that the console stays until and unless we press enter after the final output. So here we are going to have a simple method using which we are going to test our unit testing part. So now let me save it. Let me just run the application. We like to build it. We'll say yes. Now we'll test the application. So as far as our first test is concerned, we have to input the integer a is equal to 1. So we'll put a is equal to 1. And then we have to put the value of b is equal to 2. And the output is 3. So we got the output. The console didn't stay because we didn't ask him to stay. So let me just call a get character here as well. Save it and run the application. We'll again test our test case 1. So we are going to put enter a is equal to 1, b is equal to 2, and the output is 3. So in this case, our first case is passed. Now what next we have to do is, we have to go for our second test where we have to put in values to Devanshu and b is equal to Shukla, and some exception has to be generated. So in order to do it, let me just stop it and run the code again. Let's run the application. Here, let's say if I like to provide Devanshu, so we get an exception. When we try to do this add, we need to get some exceptions here, and here we'll get the exception. Let me just test that again. Okay, we'll try to do test with something like D, and it's going out of exception. So now what next we need to do is, we need to check whether the input values which we have received are, we need to put some try and catch exceptions here. So what next we can do is, whenever we are receiving some values here, here it says it's an integer value. So now what we'll do, we can put a try catch block here. Or else what we can do is, okay, so what we'll do, we'll check if so here what we'll do, we have to check the input A. So in the test case 2, we have to test the invalid input. Within integer A, we have to provide in a username like Devanshu, and within B we have to provide something like Shukla, and we should get an exception for the string. So in order to do that, what we can simply do is, we can simply check what are the contents of the console input, and if it is not valid, then the compiler is going to set it as a fail bit. If it is a fail bit, then what if the console input is failed, then what we are going to do is, we are going to clear the console input and we are going to display a prompt message to the user. So in order to do this, what we'll do, we'll simply check an input, if not cin. If it's not going to be, if it's a failed console input, so what we like to do, we are going to clear the standard input first, and then we are going to ignore the bits which we have received within the console. So in order to do this, what we'll do, we have to simply check the numeric size. So we are going to take the numeric limits, and within the numeric limits we are going to choose one type, and we have to choose the stream size. We'll take the stream size and we'll take the max values, and we'll check up till the new line character is encountered. So we are going to ignore whatever contents are provided to the console input, and we are going to simply print out something like, we are going to give an exception to the string. So we'll give some exception and we'll say please enter integers. So we are going to specify something like an exception here, and then we can again ask for a standard C input. Again we are going to print and output something like this here. C out, enter values for A, and we'll continue. We can again cross check if somebody if he does something, we can close the application or something like that. So that could be done. So we'll do again. If again there will be an invalid input, if not standard C input. So we are going to do something like, let's say we are going to print a message, C out, bad input, quitting application, and we are going to do something like get a character so that I can show you the output, and we're going to return a false error code. Let's say I'm going to give an error code as 10. So here on a bad string we'll get an exception. We can do the same thing for our B0. So we'll just copy this method and we can put that after B, and we can take the value for B again, and we can do that stuff. So now before taking A and B, user will get a chance to enter the correct input again. So let me just save the call and run the application. So now as soon as we run, we can see that we have to provide in a username something like Devanshu. So as soon as we enter, we get an exception now. Please enter integers, and we have to enter values for A, and I hope due to some code I have got a new line character, and that again should be an input to this. Please enter integers, and here in the test case enter values for A, and we got a we have not taken the standard input, I'm sorry. So we'll take the standard input first here for A, std:/c input, and that should be stored into A, and in the same way we're going to put that here, std:/c input, and that has to be put into B. So let me just stop the application and test that again. So you can see that using the test cases, the developer can write a test for himself, and in a better way he'll be able to develop good applications. So we have got the exception in this case, so we're going to put in 10. Now he's asking for B. I'll provide something like Shukla, so he's asking me please enter values for this. I'm going to put in 20, and the output is 30. So now we have got the second case passed. So in this way we have two pass cases at the moment, that our software is tested with unit test for this particular method add. Now what we have to do is we have to provide the negative values, and we have to get an exception, something, but get a warning, something like please enter unsigned integers. So in order to do this, now we'll go with the third case, and in the third case what we have to do is we simply have to check if A and B before given to the add values, let's say these are integers, we need to do one more check whether they are greater than 0 or not. So we'll do a simple test, something like this. You should get a warning. So we'll check if a is greater than 0. So we'll do something like and b is greater than 0. Only then the code will be performed. Else we like to say something, we like to give an exception to the user. So we'll give something like cout warning, enter positive integers only. So we can give a warning message to the user using the application in this way. And once it is done, we can take the user input again. So that could be written in another method wherein we can take the inputs. So we'll get a warning if we do not provide positive integers. So let me just save it. Let me just run the test. So let's say if I provide -1 and -2, so we get a warning message, something like that. So before this, let me just use a get character again before it gets terminated. So I'll do something like -10, 20. So now this time we'll get the warning, enter positive integers only. So we're going to notify the user as well that only positive integers are accepted. Otherwise we won't get the correct response. Okay. So we can provide in another important information like quitting application, and we're done. So our third case is again a passed case, and now finally we have to test for the null values. And actually for the null values we don't need to write any case, because in console applications empty values doesn't work. So you have to put in some values, otherwise it won't work, and the output is 1143. So at this moment case number 4 is not within the reasons. So if you want, you can ignore this null case here in this case, and all of the 3 cases are passed for this unit test. So this is how we write unit test for our methods and for our classes, and we test the methods, and then our application becomes a strong application. So I hope you got the point. Thank you for watching.